What's up, brothers? Day 27, monk mode, going strong. Just want to update you on some stuff because I had plenty of time to think today during my shift at the coffee shop. I was really thinking about the way of the superior man and purpose and where I am in this whole journey. Reminds me specifically of chapter 12 in the way of the superior man, and you may be able to relate with this chapter as well. In that chapter, David Deida talks about how a man must be willing to change everything in his life. He's referring to when one man is shedding his layer of purpose and moving into his next layer of purpose. In the Christian community, we kind of talk about these layers of purpose like seasons, one season to another season, where your focus changes. And for a man, it's really crucial not to get caught up in distraction when he's unsure of what his next layer is. I think all of us have experienced that season of waiting and discerning when we're going from one season to the next or one layer of purpose to the next. And it's uncomfortable because whatever you were doing before was fulfilling and it worked, and now you're stepping out of that, but you don't know necessarily what you're stepping into. For me right now, it looks like stepping out of my business, stepping out of grad school, and I'm not sure what it looks like stepping into. I know the end game. I want to be discipling and mentoring young men in the ways of Jesus. And I know my next step, which I'm fulfilling right now, which is living in monk mode and following through on these 30 days of challenges or actions that I've committed to. But I'm not sure what the next step is, especially when it comes to finances and building a career around my purpose. Now, that being said, I think it's really important to recognize that during this season, it's not necessary to know what you're moving into, but what is necessary is to avoid distraction. So no games, no pleasure, nothing excessive that would keep you from really digging into introspection through meditation and stillness. For me, this has looked like daily morning meditation. It's looked like denying myself of sugar and any sexual temptation, and then just being very mindful not to put things on my calendar that would just be excessive in pleasure. I think some is okay. You do need that feminine energy, that life and vitality, especially when you're really committed and focused on something. Otherwise, you become too rigid. However, I didn't want to start to move in the opposite end of the spectrum to where I'm spending too much time seeking pleasure and distracting myself. So maybe you can relate because you're aware of your purpose and you're not sure how to get there. You need to enter a season of waiting, a season of focused openness so that you can receive your next step from God. And maybe you don't know your purpose, which in that case you certainly need to remove distractions and start to do some introspection and gain insight in order to really understand what your purpose is. And usually close to our fears or aligns with our fears. For me, I'm afraid of not having financial security if I'm going to be vulnerable. I feel like it holds me back in my own mind, and it feels the opposite of validating. So I guess I feel like I'm not enough and I don't measure up, and comparing to other people and then just comparing myself to myself. All these things and different insecurities, maybe some facts in there too, like you don't have as much money, you can't do as much things. There are certain people who you might not be able to spend time with because they do those things and you can't. However, I was really challenged in a counseling session with my family today to ask what standard of living and what problem am I trying to solve for with my life. This is really crucial. This is super crucial, because if I am trying to live a life that I don't value and I don't respect, then I'm going to be beating myself up for not living that life right now. And then eventually, if I do get there, it's not going to be fulfilling. So what does this have to do with purpose? It's super important to understand where purpose and your lifestyle combine, and then to make sure that you're aligning those things. Right now, I'm going to challenge you, as I challenge myself, to focus solely on this time of understanding your purpose and how to live it out. If you're in that season of being in between layers of purpose or in between seasons. If you're living your purpose out right now and you know what it is, then fully throw yourself into it, fully invest yourself into it so that you can see it through fruition, and that'll lead into your next purpose, into your next season, and whatever God has next for you. So be fully present, be fully invested in now. Don't distract yourself. That way you don't have any regrets and you know that you are living up to the calling that God has on your life. That's all I got for you guys tonight. Peace, brothers.